finish each other's sentences at dawn. Now how was your day feels like reciting a foreign song. Your laugh moved to someone else's stories on my feet, while I sit here memorizing the back of your head. The small rituals faded one unnoticed breath at a time. Coffee for two became coffee for one by design. I kept waiting for the moment you'd turn and see that the person you once knew was still right here, still me. I watched us turn in the strangers. No dramatic goodbye, just 1,000 tiny deaths beneath the same sky. Your eyes forgot the way they used to find mine. We became polite ghosts in the wreckage of us and mine. I watched it happen, slow like winter arriving. I watched us turn into strangers, still surviving. Stop reaching for my hand in crowded rooms. I stopped asking why the silence felt like tombs. Traded inside jokes for surface level weather, and I love you became something we don't say together. I replayed every warning sign like film on repeat. The way your later turned permanent, incomplete. I should have fought louder when the distance grew tall, but I let it happen. Watch the writing on the wall. I watched us turn in the strangers. No fight, no blame, just erosion disguised as life staying the same. Your voice on the phone lost its warmth overnight. We're civil now, careful, pretending it's alright. I watched it happen like sand slipping through. I watched us turn into strangers, me without you. If I could pause time on the last night we felt like home, I'd whisper every unsaid thing before we turned to stone. But love doesn't warn you when it's quietly packing to leave. It just lets you watch the stranger you once swore you'd never be. And now I carry your absence like a second skin. The stranger you became is the hardest place I've been. I watched us turn in the strangers, and I'm still watching the end. Every memory flickers like a signal losing strength. You're happy somewhere new. I hope that much is true. While I'm learning how to live inside the echo of losing you, I watched us to strangers we never thought we'd trade. I watched us turn into strangers, and the strangest part is I still recognize your shadow in every empty heart. We lay in the dark and I bit my tongue again. Every fear I swallowed felt like saving us from pain. Your breathing next to mine was the only sound I heard. I told myself that quiet love would never need a word. I built a wall of stillness, thick and soft and kind. Thought if nothing ever broke, nothing ever died. I wore that heavy comfort like a blanket made of stone, never seeing how the silence carved us both alone. I thought silence meant safe, like a harbor in the storm, but it was just a slow blade cutting every thread we'd worn. All the ammo case I hid behind my smile became the very reasons we stopped burning for a while. I thought silence meant safe, now the quiet is a grave. You'd ask if I was happy, I'd answer with a nod, while inside me every unsaid storm began to flood. We danced around the edges of the things we couldn't face, pretending calm was courage in its most elegant grace. I watched the distance widen in the pauses we allowed. Every night I chose restraint instead of reaching out. I believed the less I spoke, the less that I could lose, until the love we guarded turned into something we outgrew. I thought silence meant safe, like a promise sealed in glass, but it cracked beneath the weight of everything we never asked. All the nights I let the dark speak louder than my heart became the final chapter where we fly picture from behind my quiet eyes. I'm learning now that courage is the only thing that saves, the kind of love that doesn't die inside a silent grave. No more hiding, no more pretending I'm alright. I thought silence meant safe, but it cost me my life. I thought silence meant safe. Now the silence is all I have, and it sounds just like but that. We stood in the hallway with the lights turned low, your coat still on the hook like it didn't want to go. I reached for your fingers, but the moment slipped through. You whispered, take care, like that could see us through. We never drew the final line, never turned the page, just left the story open on a half-erased stage. I kept the door unlocked in case you changed your mind, while the silence grew heavier with every night behind. The goodbye we never finished still lives inside these walls and under my skin. I keep replaying the almost words we left unsaid, the almost hugs, the almost end we never let begin. No slam doors, no final tears, just an open wound that breathes. The goodbye we never finished is the only thing that won't leave. Your name still lights up when my phone forgets to forget. Old voicemails play like ghosts I haven't buried yet. We talk about the weather when we accidentally meet, two strangers wearing memories we can't delete. I practiced every perfect line 1,000 times alone, but courage always left me when I heard your tone. We chose to walk away without ever walking out. Now the ending hangs forever in this endless doubt. The goodbye we never finished still echoes every time the wind moves through the trees. I carry all the questions that we never dared to speak, the love we couldn't bury and the pain we couldn't free. No dramatic final scene, just a quiet, slow decay. The goodbye we never finished won't let me walk away. If the universe gave me one more minute at that door, I'd say every single thing get rewinds. So I'm learning how to live with the goodbye we left behind. The goodbye we never finished is the hardest kind of closure I will ever know. I'm teaching myself to release what we never let go, to close the book we left open, to finally say I know. No more waiting for the words that never came to me. The goodbye we never finished is teaching me to be free. The goodbye we never finished still whispers in the dark. But I'm learning how to finish it inside my healing heart. I kept our side of the bed warm long after you left. Saved your favorite mug, though the coffee went cold and unsaid. I answered the door when no one was ringing the bell, still watering flowers in a garden you'd already farewell. I showed up for the memories you decided to leave behind. Carry both our shadows when yours started to decline. I whispered I'm here to the silence that answered back, while you were already turning the page we never closed. I was still there space that you left burned. I replayed every voicemail like it could bring you home. Kept the lights on low in case you decided to come. I defended your name when the world started to talk, even as your absence wrote its name on every clock. I fought for the version of us that only I could see. Believed in the promises, you stopped believing in me. I stood in the fire while you stepped out of the flame, still calling your name like it wasn't already changed. I was still there, long after the end. I was still there where you weren't. Now I'm learning to leave what you already burned, taking back the pieces I left at your feet, fighting the version of me that doesn't need to bleed. I was still there when you weren't, but today I choose me. I choose to move on. I was still there when you weren't. Now the only one left is me. You walk through the door like a habit you can't break, but your smile doesn't reach the eyes I used to know so well. The way you say my name sounds borrowed, not quite yours, like you left the real version somewhere behind closed doors. I still set 2 plates out of muscle memory, pour your coffee black the way it used to comfort me. But every conversation feels like reading from a script where the actor playing you has already quit. The version of you it's just a shadow wearing the face I love. He speaks in your voice, but the warmth has been replaced with polite distance and careful words we both hate. I miss the version of you that before you became someone I barely realized today. We still share the couch, the same late night show, but your hand doesn't find mine underneath the throw. You laugh at the right moments, you ask if I'm okay, yet the man who once fought for me has quietly walked away. I keep searching for the spark behind your tired eyes, the boy who promised forever under starry skies, but he's somewhere far away living a different life, while this polite stranger sleeps next to me at night. The version of you that stayed is a beautiful lie I'm too scared to face. He goes through the motions, he plays the perfect part, but there's no fire left beating inside his heart. left of her. But ghosts don't answer when you call their name at night. So I'm learning how to love what's gone while holding on so tight. The version of you that stayed is slowly teaching me how to say goodbye. I can't keep waiting for a man who's already left inside. I deserve the kind of love that doesn't slowly die. Goodbye to the version of you that stayed. I'm setting both of us free today. The version of you that stayed was never really here, and I'm finally learning to disappear. I watched you pack your things under the kitchen light, folded every shirt like I was helping you take flight. You waited for the tears, for the words to start a war, but I just stood there smiling at the open door. My throat held every stay like a secret I would keep. My hands stayed by my side so they wouldn't reach. I swallowed all the begging, every desperate plea, so you could leave believing you were truly free. I let you go without a sound. No screaming, no fighting, just my heart hid in the ground. I gave you the softest exit, the kindest kind of end, even though inside me something broke that won't mend. I let you go without a sound, so you wouldn't have to carry my pain around. You said I'm sorry, like you needed my reply. I nodded like it didn't feel like saying goodbye. The taxi waited, patient in the pouring rain, while I memorized your silhouette walking away. I could have cried, I could have begged you not to leave, I could have made it harder so you'd never feel relieved. But love sometimes means silence when the loudest thing is pain. So I chose quiet mercy in the middle of the rain. I let you go The lamp was low, the city hummed outside. I held the phone closer like it could keep you by my side. You asked about my day, I answered soft and slow, but something in your tone had already let me go. The pauses stretched longer than they used to do. Your laugh came polite instead of breaking through. I traced the pattern of the blanket on my knees, while every word you spoke felt like a distant memory. The night your voice felt different was the night the ending quietly arrived. No goodbye, no argument, just a subtle shift inside, like the warmth that slowly left the place where it once thrived. I heard it in the silence between the words you tried to hide. The night your voice felt different was the night our forever died. You said you were tired, that work had been long, but I heard the distance like a quiet, unfamiliar song. The way you said I love you landed light as air, as if the weight behind it simply wasn't there. I wanted to ask what changed between yesterday and now, but fear kept the question locked inside somehow. So I laughed a little softer, pretended I was fine, while my heart was already reading the last line. The night your voice felt different was the night I started learning how to grieve, while you were still right there, still breathing next to me. I felt the slow unraveling of everything we used to be. The night your voice felt different was the night you started to leave. If I could go back to that call, to that quiet midnight air, I'd ask you to be honest. I'd tell you I was scared. I'd say, I feel you fading, please don't disappear. Instead I let the moment pass and held back every tear. Now I carry that version of your voice like a scar, the gentle way you told me who we no longer are. The night your voice felt different is the moment I replay when the house gets too still. It taught me love can end without a single scream or spill, just a slow aching change no one wants to feel. The night your voice felt different was the hardest truth I had to learn to heal. The night still said goodnight and held on. I wake up reaching for your side. Habit doesn't ask me why. Your coffee cup is long gone cold. Still feels like something left untold. I don't hear you say my name, but rooms still echo just the same. Like you never really left. You just became my quiet breath. I thought time would teach me how to forget, but it only taught my heart where you still sit. Your absence still knows my heart, knows exactly where to start. Every scar, every part, every place we fell apart. Even gone, you leave a mark in the silence, in the dark. You don't touch me, don't hold my hand, but your absence understands. I smile now when people ask if I'm done with the past. I say yes like it's true, like love just disappears on cue. But some nights I still feel you near, in songs I never used to hear. It's not pain, it's something else, like missing who I was myself. I don't need you back to survive. I just miss the way we were alive. Your absence still knows my heart, knows exactly where to start. Every scar, every part, every place we fell apart. Even more, you leave a mark in the silence, in the dark. You don't touch me, don't hold my hand, but your absence understands. Maybe love doesn't need a face. Maybe it just learns to change its place. You're not here, but you're not erased. You're written into how I am. Your absence still knows my heart, like a language I can unlearn. Every end, every start, every lesson that still burns. I don't need you to stay, I just feel you every day. You don't love me like you did, but your absence never quit. You're not here, but my heart still knows you were. It was past midnight, phone face down. Your name stayed quiet, no familiar sound. I typed your words erase them twice, like love was thinking, taking time. The room was full of borrowed air. Your side of the bed still warm somehow. That was the night I realized love was gone, but I was still around. I kept reaching for something true, but every silence sounded like you. It was the night love stopped answering our goodbye. No warning sign, I kept calling out your heart, but it was already offline. I stayed awake, believing you, while love just let me through. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I stayed with the truth. Your jacket hanging by the door, like you'd be back, like before. I replayed moments in my head, looking for the words you never said. You said nothing was wrong at all, but your eyes had learned to leave. I was loving at full volume. You were already on mute with me. You didn't mean to disappear, but love doesn't always stay sincere. It was the night love stopped answering. I heard the echo, not your voice. I begged the past to hold us still, like pain was ever a choice. I kept my heart unlocked for you, but love already moved. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I finally knew. Now I don't wait for messages that never come. I learned some hearts go silent before they're gone. It was the night love stopped answering, but I survived the sound of none. I stopped calling what we had, something it never become. You taught me how to lose someone without a fight or truth. It was the night love stopped answering, and I answered me too. I still remember the ringing, but I don't wait anymore. I memorized the sound of maybe, held on to words he never gave me. I stayed polite with all your doubt, called it patience, not burning out. I learned your silence by heart, treated distance like a start. I kept the door unlocked for hope, while you kept finding reasons not to cope. I kept believing time was kind, but it was only passing by. I waited longer than life should, stayed when leaving would have been good. I called it faith, I called it trust, but I was breaking quietly inside us. You didn't ask me to remain, I just mistook delay for pain. I waited longer than I should, and paid the price for being good. I smiled through every half reply, made excuses so you wouldn't try. I lowered needs, I raised my grace, shrank my voice to keep your place. Love became a careful thing, afraid of asking for anything. I was there in every way, but you were only almost staying. I thought endurance meant I cared, but love shouldn't need to be spared. I waited longer than life should, held on longer than anyone would. I turned my ache into belief, called uncertainty relief. You never told me not to stay, you just let tomorrow drift away. I waited longer than life should, and learned too late what love is not. There's a line between hope and delay, between choosing someone and being played. I crossed it thinking I was strong, but strength knows when it's been too long. I waited longer than life should, but I'm done waiting misunderstood. I won't confuse restraint with care, or call absence being there. If love returns, it won't ask me to bleed. It won't survive on what it needs. I waited longer than life should. Now I leave exactly when I should. Some lessons take their time, but freedom doesn't ask for mine. You stopped asking how my day had been, just nodded like you already knew. Our words got smaller, thinner, like love was scared of waking you. I learned the sound of empty space between your sighs and tired eyes. still sharing the same bed, but dreaming separate lives. You said nothing was wrong, but silence stayed too long. When love and you became quiet, I felt the distance in your touch. No fights, no tears to cry with, just less and less of us. You didn't leave, you just went still, like love forgot how to speak. When love and you became quiet, it started breaking me. I laughed louder to fill the room, hoped you'd notice something changed. I kept translating all your moves into reasons you might stay. Your phone lit up, your eyes looked down like I was interrupting peace. I was standing right beside you, but somehow begging to be seen. I miss the way you used to care, before love turned into air. When love and you became quiet, I felt alone while holding on. No goodbye, no tonight violence, just one slowly gone. You stayed, but not with me. Your heart learned how to leave. When love and you became quiet, it taught me how to grieve. Maybe love shouldn't whisper just to survive, or fade so gently we call it time. If silence is all that love can be, then I'd rather hear myself breathe. When love and you became quiet, I finally heard my own pain. I stopped begging for your presence in a room where I was unseen. You didn't mean to hurt me, but you didn't choose to stay. When love and you became quiet, found my voice and walked away. Some love ends loud, ours disappeared. was full of echoes from words we didn't say. I was counting every heartbeat. You were already away. Your eyes stopped listening, your hands let go of mine. I felt the ending coming, but pretended we had time. You left before the song ended, before the last refrain. I was still learning the melody. You were done with the pain. You didn't say you were leaving, you just stopped pretending. I kept singing for us. You left before the song ended. Your laugh became a memory, too soft to call back home. I replayed every moment, like it might change the tone. I loved you in the quiet parts, between the lines you missed. You heard an exit sign, I heard one final kiss. You left before the song ended, before it could resolve. I was still holding the harmony. You were already gone. You didn't break the silence, you let it do the damage. I kept singing for us. You left before the song ended. Maybe love isn't forever, maybe it's just a verse. You stopped believing in us, I believed it worse. You left before the song ended, but I sang it to the end. I stayed with every lyric, even when you didn't understand. Now the music feels different, but my heart's still open. I didn't lose my voice. You just left before the song ended. Some songs don't fade out, they stop midline, and you learn to breathe in the silence they leave behind. sat across the kitchen light like strangers sharing space. You stirred your coffee slowly, wouldn't look me in the face. I felt the distance settle in between what was and what became. We were still saying goodnight, but it didn't sound the same. I held the word forever, like it still meant something true. You were already folding out of everything we knew. That was the last time I called it us, before the silence won, before your hand stopped reaching, before the damage done. I said we'll be fine tomorrow. You didn't disagree. That was the last time I called it us, and you stopped choosing me. Your jacket stayed by the hallway door, like maybe you'd return. I memorized your quiet steps and every look you wouldn't turn. We weren't fighting anymore, we just stopped trying to win. Love didn't leave in anger, it just thinned and thinned. I kept speaking in plural while you were thinking alone. I was building a future, you were letting it go. That was the last time I called it us, before the air went cold, before I saw the truth in the things you never told. You didn't slam the door, you didn't raise your voice. That was the last time I called it us, before you made your choice. Some endings don't explode, they gently rearrange. You wake up one day and we just feel strange. That was the last time I called it us, but not the last time I cared. I stayed until the feeling was too quiet to repair. Now I speak in I and me, and it finally feels honest. That was the last time I called it us, and the first time I chose myself. Some words carry history, some words let you heal. And the day I stopped saying we was the day it became real. I still remember the way you laughed under streetlights, our shadows cast. Moments that felt like forever, now they're gone, like they never mattered. I kept chasing what could never stay, held on to whispers that faded away. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast. in every crowded street, a ghost of us in every heartbeat. I tried to fix what wasn't mine, but some love fades with time. I held on to dreams that slipped like sand, reaching for touch I can't command. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast to feel. Every word, every stolen glance, a beautiful but fleeting chance. Maybe in another life, another day, we'd have found a way to stay. But here and now, I let you go, carry almost in my soul. We were almost something real, a fire that burned too fast to feel. Every word, every stolen glance, a beautiful but fleeting chance. We were almost something real. And I'll keep the memory and heal. And I'll keep the memory and heal. We were almost something real. I used to feel your heartbeat next to mine. Now silence fills the space we left behind. Whispers of laughter echo in the room, but shadows grow as love meets its gloom. I reached for you, but you slipped away. A gentle warmth that couldn't stay. The kind of love that slowly fades, leaves quiet nights and empty days. Every smile, every touch we knew fades like morning mist in the blue. I see your face in the crowd sometimes, a fleeting glance, a hint of old rhymes. I try to hold on, but the colors dim, our melody lost in a fading hymn. I whispered prayers that love could remain, but echoes return only your name. empty days. Your smile, every touch we knew fades like a morning mist in the blue. The kind of love that slowly fades. I'll hold the memory and face new ways. I'll hold the memory and face new ways. The kind of love that slowly fades. You text me good morning, then disappear by noon. Left me reading old messages under the same moon. Your arms around me felt like a temporary release, warm until the moment you decided to release. I kept collecting pieces you never meant to give. Told myself half a heart was still a way to live, but every almost touch left bruises I couldn't name. You gave me just enough to keep me in the game. You love me in half measures, never all the way. A whisper of forever that faded by the day. You held me like a secret you weren't ready to claim. Left me starving for the fire you only gave a flame. Half measures, half measures, and I still stayed. You'd say I miss you in the middle of the night, then wake up acting like it never saw the light. I learned the shape of your maybe, wore it like a crown while you kept one foot steady on the way out of town. I painted full futures on your unfinished lines, drank your someday promises like expensive wine. But the glass was always half empty when you turned around, and I drowned in the silence of the love you never found. You loved me in half measures, never deep enough. Offered me a lifeline, then called it just a bluff. You kissed me like a habit you could easily break, left echoes of devotion that were always half awake. Half measures, half measures, and I still ached. I wonder if you ever love someone completely, or if partial is the only version you know how to be. I gave you every fraction, every trembling part. You took the light and left me holding just the dark. I deserve the whole sky, not not a borrowed star. You loved me in half measures, but I loved you complete. Poured my entire ocean at your hesitant feet. Now I'm learning how to walk away from what was never mine, healing from a love that only showed up half the time. No more half measures, no more half measures. I'm finally mine. You loved me in half measures, but I won't love that way again. The mornings got colder, though the calendar said spring. Your laugh arrived later and left on quieter wings. We passed the same hallway like ships in the night, still saying I'm fine, while the distance grew wide. I felt the shift in the way you folded the clothes, a little less careful, a little less close. We never named the crack that was forming below, just kept walking forward, pretending we didn't know. We lost each other softly, like rain on a window pane. No thunder, no screaming, just a slow fading stain. You became my outline I could no longer trace. I became the echo of a once familiar face. We lost each other softly, without a trace. The photos stayed up, but the stories went dark. Your favorite sweater now hangs cold in the dark. We stopped reaching across the table at night. The silence felt normal, almost polite. I kept telling myself it was only a phase, that gentle good nights could still carry the flame. But every small step back was a step we both chose, until the love we once carried quietly froze. We lost each other softly, like petals leaving the rose. No violence, no ending, just a gradual close. The future we whispered became a forgotten line. We turned into people who once felt like mine. We lost each other softly, one breath at a time. If I could rewind to the first day the warmth slipped away, I'd pull you back gently and beg you to stay. But love doesn't shout when it's the door of your heart. Now I carry the weight of the things we let die in the softest of ways, under the softest of skies. We lost each other softly, but the lesson burns bright. I'll never again love in half-hearted light. I'll speak when it matters, I'll hold when it's real. No more quiet drifting, no more silent appeal. We lost each other softly, but I found how to heal. We lost each other softly, like a song that ends too soon. The softest kind of forever that ended in one afternoon. We share the same roof, the same quiet dinner table, but your eyes don't land on me the way they used to be able. I laugh at your jokes like I'm scared they might end, while the space between us grows wider with every pretend. I reach for your hand and it slips like smoke in the air. You say I'm right here, but it's a version I no longer compare. We're breathing the same air, sleeping side by side, yet I've never felt farther from the warmth we once called us and mine. Love shouldn't feel this lonely, like I'm talking to a stranger who's wearing your face. Love shouldn't leave me aching for the smallest trace of the person who once looked at me and stayed. Love shouldn't feel this lonely when you're still in the same room, still saying my name. We plan for tomorrow like nothing has changed, but the silence at night screams everything's rearranged. I trace the lines on your back like a map I once knew. Now it leads to a place that no longer includes me and you. I keep telling myself this is just a season we'll weather, that tomorrow you'll see me, that we'll find each other. But every I love you lands lighter than before, and I'm left wondering what we're even fighting for. the person you chose will remember your name. I deserve someone who chooses me loud and complete, not this half-hearted echo of a love running on empty streets. I'm tired of being lonely with you right next to me. It's time I learned what real closeness is supposed to be. Love shouldn't feel this lonely, so I'm learning to let go of what's already gone cold. I'll find the kind of love that makes the empty feel whole, that sees me, that needs me, that never lets me fade. Love shouldn't feel this lonely, and I won't let it stay this way. Love shouldn't feel this lonely, so I'm choosing me tonight. The coffee got cold on the counter again. Your keys still hung where they always had been. We move like two ghosts in rooms we once filled, with laughter that died when the silence got real. I kept watering plants that had already died, told myself one more season, one more try. I fixed every crack in the walls we had built, while the foundation beneath us had already wilted. I stayed too long where love had left, clinging to echoes of what we once had, sleeping beside strangers who wore your face, waiting for warmth in an empty embrace. I stayed too long where love had left, hoping the ashes would somehow catch flame again. We still said good morning and how was your day, but the words felt borrowed and drifted away. I laughed at your stories I no longer knew, pretending the distance wasn't tearing me through. I counted the nights by the space in the bed, traced every promise that you never kept. I held on to reasons that no longer made sense, while my heart kept paying a long overdue rent. I stayed too long where love had left, collecting the pieces of what we once were, quiet goodbyes. I gave all my seasons to a winter that stayed. Loved you in places where love had decayed. It's time I forgave the girl who held on, for believing in something already gone. I stayed too long where love had left, but today I'm walking through that open door, taking the lessons from the pain that I bore. No more pretending, no more keeping score. I stayed too long where love had left. Now I'm choosing me, I'm choosing what's I stayed too long where love had left, but I won't stay forever. This time I'm leaving for something better. Your suitcase stayed by the doorway, but your eyes were already gone. You smiled like you were listening, while your heart had moved on. I kept reading between your pauses, trying to fix what I felt. You were halfway out the moment I still called us sweet to myself. I confused your silence for patience and distance for space to heal. I didn't know you had already left. I was loving what wasn't real. I stayed after you checked out, kept the lights on, kept the doubt. Told myself you'd turn around while you planned to be fine. I stayed after you checked out, held the room, held the sound. You left without saying goodbye. I stayed to watch us die. Your words felt rented, never owned, like promises with an end date. I waited for you to feel again while you learn how to escape. I memorized your leaving signs, the way your touch grew thin. stayed once, now I'm hurt. I stayed when I shouldn't have. Now I'm walking back to me. I learned the shape of empty rooms by tracing where you used to stand. Your coffee cup, your quiet shoes, still waiting like they understand. The light comes in but feels too wide, like something's missing from the air. I smile now but only half. The rest of me still isn't there. You never slammed the door goodbye. You just faded step by step, and somehow that hurt deeper than every word you never said. I loved you in the spaces you left, in the pauses between my breath, in the nights where your name stayed loud, but your voice was nowhere around. I held on where you slipped away, loved the silence, you couldn't stay. I loved you in the spaces you left when you were already elsewhere. Your absence learned my daily life. It knows exactly when I fall. I talk to you in crowded rooms, still feel the quiet most of all. They say time heals, but no one tells how slow it moves when love stays true. I don't miss who you are today, I miss who I was with you. You moved on like it was easy, like we never had a past, but I'm still living in the moment, right before we didn't last. I loved you in the spaces you left, in the cracks I could have way. I loved you in the spaces you left, when goodbye didn't sound like the end. Every heartbeat learned your shape, every tear spelled out your name. I won't chase what you outgrew, but I'll always know this truth. I loved you in the spaces you left, and I finally learned to step through. Now the room feels like my own, even with the echoes gone. I loved you in the spaces you left, but I don't live there anymore. You used to fill the room with sound, now even echoes feel afraid. The walls remember how we laughed, but won't repeat the things you said. I talk to spaces you walk through, like they might answer me again. But every night just proves the truth. You're gone and quiet's moved right in. I waited for your voice to break the stillness you left behind, but silence stayed and slowly learned every fear I hide. When silence learned my name, it started calling me at night. Every memory felt louder when there was nothing left to fight. You disappear without a sound, but silence stayed and took your place. And now I'm answering the quiet. When silence learned my name. Your goodbye never found the words, it just arrived in smaller days, in messages that stopped too soon, in love that looked the other way. I carried conversations that never reached your side. The quiet knows my heartbeat now better than you ever did that time. You left me standing in between what was and what we'd never be, and somehow silence stayed long enough to understand all of me. When silence learned my name, it held me when you wouldn't stay. Every unanswered question began to sound the same. You moved on like nothing broke, but I still feel the change. Now I'm learning how to breathe with silence saying my name. Maybe love doesn't always scream, maybe it fades then disappears, but no one warned me quiet could remember me this clear. I don't miss the way you left, I miss the way you didn't try. You gave your absence to the world and left the silence mine. When silence learned my name, it stopped feeling like a threat. It taught me how to sit with pain without begging you to stay yet. I won't chase what wouldn't choose to fight for me the same. I survived the nights alone. When silence learned my name, I still hear you in my past, but I don't answer back. Silence knows me well enough to finally let me rest. Your suitcase stayed by the doorway, but your eyes were already gone. You smiled like you were listening, while your heart had moved on. I kept reading between your pauses, trying to fix what I felt. You were halfway out the moment I still called us we to myself. I confused your silence for patience and distance for space to heal. I didn't know you had already left. I was loving what wasn't real. I stayed after you, checked out, kept the lights on, kept the doubt, told myself you turn around while you were nowhere to be found. I stayed after you, checked out, held the room, held the sound. You left without saying goodbye. I stayed to watch us die. Your words felt rented, never owned, like promises with an end date. I waited for you to feel again while you learned how to escape. I memorized your leaving signs, the way your touch grew thin. wait for something no more. Now I know love doesn't vanish. It leaves clues before it goes. If I have to convince you to stay, then I already know. I won't build a future on someone halfway gone. I deserve a love that stays present when things go wrong. I stayed after you checked out, but I'm leaving now somehow. I won't care if you drop. I won't wait for love to stop. You checked out long before the end. I stayed, but I've blown again. This time I choose myself somehow. I stayed once, now I'm out. I stayed when I shouldn't have. Now I'm walking back to me. We were still learning how to laugh again, still leaving coffee warm on the table. You said forever like it had time, like love was something stable. I was counting days we hadn't lived, dreams we hadn't dared to try. Then you said my name like an ending, before I learned how to say goodbye. I thought we were just beginning, but you were already done. I was holding on to the moment you were landing from. Your goodbye came early, before my heart could understand. I was still building tomorrow. You were letting go of my hand. Your goodbye came early, before love learned how to stay. I was ready to keep choosing us. You walked away yesterday. Your side of the bed stayed untouched, like it knew you wouldn't return. I replayed every quiet was still inside the story. You erased the final page. I didn't know love could end before it ever felt complete. I was still believing in us while you were retreating. Your goodbye came early before I learned how to be strong. I was still calling you my home. You had already moved on. Your goodbye came early before my heart could prepare. You left me holding a future. You decided not to share. Maybe timing never looks one. Maybe hearts don't always align. But you don't leave someone slowly when they're still calling you mine. I won't beg love to wait that already chose to flee. If goodbye came early for you, it came on time for me. Your goodbye came early, but my healing came right on time. I won't mourn what you abandoned. I'll protect what's still mine. Your goodbye came early, but I finally see the truth. You left before love was tested. I stayed long enough to choose. You left before I was ready. Now I'm ready without you. I learned how to speak softer so you wouldn't turn away. I shrank my needs to silence just to make you stay. I left room in every sentence, hoping you would step inside. But you filled the world with noise and never saw what I set aside. I bend myself around your days like love was something small. You never felt me disappearing, you never felt it at all. There was space you never noticed, right beside your life. I was standing in the quiet, while you chased another light. There was space you never noticed, where my heart remained. I was making room for you, while you never did the same. Saved you a place in my future with your name underlined. You treated love like a visitor, something passing through your time. I waited in between your choices, like a pause you could ignore. You never saw me holding open what you never walked toward. I kept the door from closing tight in case you changed your mind. But you mistook my patience for something you could leave behind. There was space you never noticed in every breath I gave. I was quietly choosing us while you were halfway gone. Sacred, you were just passing through the days. Oh, maybe love should take up room, maybe it should be seen. I shouldn't have to fake myself to fit inside your dreams. If you couldn't feel my absence when I was standing near, then losing you won't break me, it just makes the truth clear. There was space you never noticed, but I see it now. It was never meant to hold you, it was teaching me how. There was space you never noticed, and I'm reclaiming it tonight. I won't make myself smaller just to stay inside your life. The space you never noticed is fine.